Well, it's almost August 1st, and what that means was that if there was any change in the UFL ownership, it has to happen now. And there were some reports of, and there wasn't some reports, there were some rumblings that, maybe somebody would be out or maybe RedBird would pull out, whatever. We did get something kind of out of left field. So the United Football League announced that renowned entrepreneur and billion-dollar brand builder Mike Repole will be joining the league's ownership group. Repole will become part of the Powerhouse coalition that includes RedBird Capital Partners, Fox, ESPN, Dany Garcia, and Dwayne Johnson. The announcement was jointly made by UFL President and CEO Russ and Mike Repole. Now, this was came out of left field. I did not hear anything about this, but so as an owner, Repole, through his private equity firm Impact Capital, will lead the league's business operations. This was the interesting part. With proven track record of disruptive innovation and brand building, Repole brings bold vision, strategic leadership, and entrepreneurial intensity to help shape the UFL's next phase of growth. Says, quote, "The UFL is thrilled to welcome a visionary like Mike Repole to our ownership group," said Russ. Mike's entrepreneurial accomplishments are extraordinary, and his dynamic leadership will immediately elevate the league's business and brand trajectory. So he's a serial entrepreneur, best known for co-founding Vitamin Water, Smart Water, and Body Armor, which collectively sold to Coca-Cola Company for more than $12 billion. He is currently the majority owner of Noble, the high-performance footwear and apparel company backed by Tom Brady, the owner of Junkless, a better-for-you snack brand, and founder of Repole Stable, one of the top horse racing stables in the world, home to 6 champions and multiple Breeder Cup and Belmont Stakes winners. He says, quote, "Football has clearly established itself as America's most popular sport with tremendous momentum and demand," he said. "There's no better time than now to build a strong, sustainable spring league that unites players, teams, and fans. I'm honored to join the United Football League's ownership group as we work to create something truly lasting and game-changing." There you have it. I will say, speaking of the Tom Brady thing, I had posted this on the socials. Anyone notice that the UFL official Instagram account is now following Tom Brady, who is also included? They mentioned his relationship with Brady. So I just wanted to point that out, that the UFL all of a sudden is now following Tom Brady's account on Instagram. And for some of you who are like, whatever. The point is that has been a sign in the past, since we've been covering these leagues for probably 7 years now. When you see things like that, that's usually might be potentially a sign of something to come. So just wanted to let that out for you. So basically he met with all of these different, the typical, the ESPN, Front Office Sports, Sportico. He met with all of these guys, USA Today. So he met with all these guys probably yesterday. They had their articles written. So the UFL drops this bomb on everybody, and then he comes out, and then there's all these articles. So I parsed through all the articles, and really the most interesting one was from Sportico. So he said that the Columbus will be a new UFL market in 2026 per him, and he talks about expansion as well in 2028. So, of course, we know that the news breaks. So Sportico had some interesting things to say. Repole said that this analyst is ongoing. Anyway, let me get back to the beginning part, including that, of course, about Columbus will be a new market in 2026. Included in that, between 2 to 4 UFL teams will be moving next season. So 2 to 4 UFL teams will be moving. Clearly, Memphis will be one of them. So Repole said that this analysis is ongoing, and between 2 and 4 teams will relocate, something that we broke earlier on UFL News Hub. The only thing settled at this point is that one team will be in Columbus, Repole said, and it will play at the former home of MLS Columbus Crew, historic Crew Stadium. The club moving to Columbus is still to be determined. So we've got that little drop there. Repole seems to be pivoting to a different approach than past spring football leadership by leaning into the relationship with MLS, something that UFL CEO and President Russ had always kind of wanted to avoid. I would say, I would even throw in, even in the past 2020, Oliver Luck, I think, kind of wanted to avoid that too. But Repole says now this is what he wants to do. He says the league is looking to work with other MLS owners in their stadiums. He says the league is looking to work. I think that we can complement MLS very well, Repole said. When you have 15,000 fans in a stadium that holds 60,000, it looks empty. He thinks one of the reasons spring football failed in the past was the lack of modern venues that can seat 20 to 30,000 people, similar to the ones MLS teams have built. To keep that in mind. His focus also in coming to the UFL is that he will be the league's business operations. They put that really out there, and he knows where things need to improve, and it's in the marketing. He says, quote, he gives the on-field product broadcast high marks, but doesn't sugarcoat the first 2 years of the league's went on the business side in several markets. Quote, I don't think the league did a good job working inside those markets, he said, referencing the market sponsorship sales and merchandise. St. Louis averaged roughly 30,000 fans per game this season, but every other club was below 15,000, including 4 under 10,000. He's confident in his ability to improve those metrics. He goes on also to refer to himself in the third person. So I was like, and he's a New Yorker, and I think he might have a little bit of personality and cockiness to him. I don't know, but talks about how he and his team. He's from Queens. Come on, bro. I'm from Long Island too. I know Queens people. I know New Yorkers, and this guy has proven he's a grinder. We'll get into that in a second. So he's filling that void that RedBird, Fox, and ESPN wasn't able to do. He said, quote, this is him. That's what Mike Repole and his team does, Repole said. We build brands. It's city by city, venue by venue, team by team, fan by fan. So cool. Interesting. Okay. Repole also dropped some big news about UFL expansion plans for 2028 and beyond. He says that the 2026 UFL season will stay with 8 teams, but he expects 10 teams by 2028 and 16 teams by 2032. He said, quote, I would consider that a failure on my part, he said, if the league hasn't expanded to 16 teams by then. So 10 teams by 2028. The feeling is that based on what he's saying, and then I'm just kind of reading the quotes, it looks like definitely 2 teams are moving, so they could potentially move 2 teams this year, maybe stay in Birmingham, potentially stay. Maybe it's Houston, maybe Michigan, maybe can get a reprieve. They can do something there, so maybe Houston's out, and clearly Memphis is done. So Memphis is Columbus now. I think it's going to be called the Columbus Aviators. That is my personal guess. And then maybe Houston is out. You don't need all these teams in Texas anymore. There's some chatter that maybe one of the teams would move to Orlando, or it could be the second piece of the puzzle. We're getting that. There's been rumblings about Orlando, Tampa. You've got the Tom Brady thing. I think Repole has a connection to Orlando. I think some of his business ventures might be out of there, so Orlando could potentially be a spot to keep an eye on. But he says, he goes on to say how he feels about the current ownership group and how they have all the pieces of the puzzle together. He says the current owners have the majority of draw for him to invest in the league, with each offering different expertise from operating franchises, RedBird, to broadcast, Might, ESPN and Fox, to global star power, Rock, better known as Johnson, better known as The Rock. I can confidently say will be the group that makes spring football work, he said. I built other brands with a less powerhouse team. So lots of interesting quotes from this new UFL co-owner. We're going to break down his background in a second. But, one of the interesting things about this so far is, I thought Dany Garcia and The Rock were the marketing people. Clearly, Fox took over. We have talked about this in the past, and we have heard, especially from our last interview, that Fox was essentially taking a step back, and it was maybe RedBird. So clearly what was happening is Fox took a step back, and RedBird does what they do, and then they brought him in to kind of be the marketing man, and also basically, if it fails, it's his fault kind of person as well. I think it's interesting because I thought Dany and The Rock were the ones to be the marketing people, but they brought the XFL, kind of made it about themselves. And I think they were trying to tell a story maybe, and then that kind of didn't work. And then I guess that once the merger happened, Fox kind of took the reins. But to me, what's interesting is that, You have Fox. You have all these corporations, yet none of them could do it. But this guy is the guy that's going to be able to do it. Like why? Like RedBird has billions of dollars, and they don't have a person that could have done it. ESPN has billions of dollars, and all these employees. Fox does. Dany Garcia, like none of them could do the marketing, but this guy, Mike Repole, is your guy, which I think he has the background to do it. It's just like none of you could have done it. Like you have all this money and all these people, then fire them all because like they can't do this part. But he is going to come in to do it, and I think they're basically, and because he's a co-owner, we'll get into his breakdown. He's not just a minority owner. I think he's kind of up there when it comes to the others. He's not a majority owner. So who is this dude, Mike Repole? We break it all down. So he made headlines, of course, today with the whole merger. So he's from Queens, Middle Village, Queens, grew up in a working class family. His father worked as a waiter and his mother as a seamstress. Became the first in his family to attend college, studying sports management at St. John's University with a 2.2 GPA. Now, per Front Office Sports, he was credited for helping revive St. John's men's basketball by injecting his alma mater with millions to spend on players. The Red Storm won their first Big East title since 1992 in March. I grew up in Long Island, so therefore St. John's has been my basketball team. I don't really follow college basketball, but if somebody were to say, what's your favorite college basketball team, it would be St. John's. So there's that connection there. No wonder why they've got better. So he started his career at Mystic Beverages before becoming sales vice president to Crystal Geyser Water Company. He left corporate life in 1999 to co-found energy brand known as Glacier with J. Darius Bickoff. Then he started building his beverage empire. Glassell created an enhanced water category with vitamin water and smart water. The company hit $1 million in revenue during its first year and reached $1 billion in sales by 2007. Coca-Cola acquired Glacier for $4.1 billion in cash in May of 2007. So Coca-Cola recognized Glacier as a strong platform to grow its active lifestyle beverages, according to the acquisition statement. Body Armor came in 2011. Repole co-founded Body Armor Super Drink with Lance Collins to challenge Gatorade and Powerade. His strategy focused on athletes as equity partners rather than endorsers. And that's interesting. I wonder if he brings that kind of idea to the players. So Kobe Bryant invested $5 million for a 10% stake in 2014 and became creative director. Bryant's estate earned approximately $400 million when Coca-Cola officially acquired Body Armor for $5.6 billion in November of 2021. Body Armor became the third most purchased sports drink by 2018 with $400 million in revenue. The acquisition marked Coca-Cola's largest purchase in company history. I have never heard of Body Armor. I'm going to have to look now. I've been a Zoa guy, and I don't follow the drinks, but clearly I know Gatorade and I know Powerade, but I don't know Body Armor. Maybe I do. Maybe if I see a bottle, I'll understand it. So now he comes down. He's a major investor in the United Football League through his private equity firm, Impact Capital. Reports say that he's not the majority owner. So his co-owners include Fox Sports, ESPN, which I've talked about before, Dwayne Johnson, Dany Garcia, Qatar's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and RedBird Capital Partners. Now, this is per Front Office Sports that there is some Saudi money involved in this too. I was wondering if that would be the case, and it is. Repole stated that Fox, RedBird Capital, and he are the biggest investors in the league. So keep that in mind. So you got Fox, RedBird. Inside of RedBird is Dwayne Johnson, ESPN. I think probably maybe the Sovereign Wealth and all of these other entities inside of RedBird. And then he is the third guy. So Fox, RedBird, and him are the biggest investors in the league. So therefore, that's why he can just hopefully just drive. RedBird, you do you, what you do. Fox, you do you. We tried to let Fox take care of business. Now you're going to let him do it. I think that is a smart move. He established the Repoles stable. After selling Glacier, the stable has achieved over 100 career wins and constantly ranks among the top owners. That's his horse racing success. Notable horses include Uncle Mo, 2010 American Cup 2-year-old, Vino Rosso, 2019 Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Mo Dingandal, 2023 Belmont Stakes winner, and Fierceness, 2023 champion 2-year-old male, 2024 Travers Stakes winner. So he's even have a horse racing business as well. Repole served as chairman of Pirates Booty. I remember my kids eating that. And from 2009 until its sale to BG and Foods for $195 million in 2013. The company grew 300% during his tenure. In July of 2023, so 2 years ago, he acquired a majority stake in No Bull Athletic Footwear and Apparel. Tom Brady's athletic brands merged with No Bull in January of 2024, making Brady the second largest shareholder. So there is the relationship with Tom Brady and the rumblings that you heard from yours truly that people were like, nah, there's a connection. We will see. His attributes to success is his extreme work ethic. He says, I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 years. It comes down to sacrifice, work ethic, and putting in the time. He advocates learning over earning for entrepreneurs and tells them to fail forward and learn from your mistakes. He's got the right mindset, 100%. He says when hiring, Repole prioritizes attitude over skills and seeks sore losers who learn from setbacks. That's right. So I think that's kind of shows you what kind of guy he is. He's got the right mindset. I will give him that. He definitely has the right mindset. The Nona, his philanthropy, the Nona Gardens Foundation, established in 2006, honored Repole's mother who battled T-cell lymphoma. The foundation donated over $7 million to cancer research at Memorial Sloan Kettering and other causes. That's where my dad had went when he passed away of cancer, thyroid cancer, when I was 21. That's a long time. He was 52. In November 2021, the foundation made a $50 million gift to MSK. The MSK Comac, that's Long Island building, was renamed MS Comac Nona's Garden Foundation Center in recognition. So clearly, he brings a lot of brand building experience to the UFL. I mean, yes, but when you throw this guy into the mix with RedBird guys, you see that. I mean, he has built stuff big time and has taken small things and made it big. My critique is not him. It's much as RedBird Capital and Fox, that you have all of these people that are unable to do what he does, yet you probably pay them a crap ton of money and they can't do it. So bringing in fresh blood, somebody who's hungry, who's got the right mindset, I'm all for it. He describes the league investment as a marathon, not a sprint, with focus on reinvesting in players, coaches, and marketing. Reinvesting. So I wonder, I've always thought with the UFL that if you want to juice your season ticket holder base, if I were to, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, if the UFL goes under, that somehow I was able to acquire the IP for like $50 because I don't have any money. What would I do with it if I then became a billionaire? And I was like, the first thing, I think the way to juice season ticket sales is to give people equity in the team. Like, all right, if you purchase season tickets to the DC Defenders, you are a part owner, and that part ownership could be a fraction of nothing. Basically, you leave 80% of the value of the franchise to whoever owns the league, and then you leave 20%. Remember, you can break up one into 0.5, 0.2. I mean, just look at Bitcoin and be like, oh, yeah, you're a very minority owner in the league. If you buy season tickets at a certain level, something like that. Like if you're a club level season ticket holder, you own a fraction of the DC Defenders. Like people would buy season tickets just to be like, and you get a little plaque and you'd be like, cool, I'm part owner of the DC Defenders. That you could say. I wonder if he brings that because he successfully partnered with athletes like Kobe Bryant and Tom Brady as a way to make this league different. And I think he's going to bring the right energy. This is something that I am excited about, that you should be excited about too. We will see what he does. How does he mesh with the people at Fox and ESPN? Does he get along with people? Is he a people person, or is he a dictator? Like, there's so many things. There's been like, and remember, Oliver Luck had said the only reason why the XFL was going to succeed was because there was only one man to talk to, and that was Vince McMahon. And everybody else, he only had to answer to one person. Basically, it's Mike Repole, Jerry Cardinell, and Fox are essentially like the higher ups that they all need to. So it's like the three of them need to kind of agree on. But I think they've learned their lesson. The Fox has done the USFL thing for a while, very stale corporate brand. RedBird kind of had the flavor a little bit with Dany Garcia and The Rock. They let him run that. I feel like if RedBird really believed in Dany Garcia and The Rock, they would have let that continue. I always thought that Dany Garcia being the commissioner would have been a great move, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to get his take, Repole, on The Rock and Dany Garcia and what they bring to the table. Were they pushed out because the corporate boys wanted to do it, and or The Rock wasn't into it? I don't know. But so they're still attached to the league, but not very much. So total beverage exits, $9.7 billion. Glacier Timeline, it was founded in 1999 and sailed in 2007. That was 8 years. Body Armor was 2011. And then sold in 2021. That was 10 years. Pirate Booty, 300% increase in 5 years. His philanthropy, his horse racing. Dude wins. Dude wins, no question about it. And it's just a question. I could see, and this guy, he said basically that if this doesn't work, it's on him. And it's his fault. And he takes it very personally. I think I have that quote somewhere. Where does he say that? Inside the markets. Basically, he said it somewhere. I would consider that a failure on my part, he said, if the league hasn't expanded to 16 teams by then. That's in 2032. So he sets the bar. This is the goal. And how do we get there? So now, starting August 1st, is essentially the new year of the league. Things move forward. There was chatter that, if they didn't sell enough tickets or something like that, that there might be a change. Clearly, his bringing money in and his success with bringing things up. And really, I wonder if they just, if I was them, Fox, just do your Fox thing. RedBird, do your RedBird thing with your relationships. And I think they needed some big hitter to drive the ship. I don't think they had the confidence in The Rock and Dany Garcia to drive the ship. But I think bringing in this guy, if I were to hand the keys to the UFL, would I hand them over to RedBird, Fox, Dany Garcia, or The Rock, or this guy, Mike Repole? I would hand the keys to Mike Repole based on his background, his success. Second would be Dany Garcia and The Rock, but they did have their shot. They merged it. They kind of made it about themselves, which I guess you're trying to juice the league and get people interested and use The Rock's name. I don't have a problem with that angle, but it did work, better work than the UFL. So he is now your owner. That's everything you need to know about him and the things that he said. But again, he talks about expansion. He's talked about Columbus is in the mix next year. I would assume Memphis is gone. And potentially a team in Florida seems like to be where everybody's kind of chit-chatting, that there would be another team in Florida. My guess would be Houston and Memphis would be out. Birmingham might get another reprieve for a year to get their act together. He might want to be able to use, all right, he's now there. Or maybe he wants to get involved with some of these leagues. Maybe they scared the crap out of these markets, and so maybe they'll come back in. But this really should make things exciting. I think having a team in Columbus, 2 new teams. If the staleness of Houston and Birmingham. Sorry, Birmingham. Michigan was great, but like Houston and Memphis really suck the life out of the league. And, if we get a big crowds in Columbus, and Columbus Crew is like one of the top locations, that would really help the league. Or when you have basically a cancer in the league, to use a terrible term, because what my wife has gone through, but you get the drift. To have that as part of the league really kind of hurt them. So it's interesting that, where does this leave Dany Garcia and The Rock? How is he going to get along with people? Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you more excited now about the league? Again, what I think will happen is that they'll do the season this year. They'll move 2 teams. They're going to do another 2027 where they're not going to have any new teams. This gives him a chance to have a full season in markets. Maybe they do this year again, and then they say, all right, Memphis and Michigan just didn't work, and we have Boise, we have Oklahoma, we've got Kentucky. We can move them, next year. So definitely the structure of the look of the league will be different in 2026. And I think it will also be different in 2027. He has said in the comments, is like, if cities are just not working, there's plenty of other cities. He said at over 30 cities, there was 31 cities that submitted RFPs to be expansion locations. So they don't need to stay in these places. They can move, and I think he's willing to do that too. So he's in charge of the business part. That is really the biggest part of the league, if you think about it. Television, hey, just give us television, make deals. RedBird's got the money. They got people, behind the scenes. The football is good. They've got that. It's just the business side of things has been lacking. Is he the guy to do it? Are we going to look back and say Mike Repole is the man? Or are we going to look like him, a year from now and be like, he sucks? That's what we're going to have to find out. So it is on him. But I think as of today, I think it's an interesting move. I think it's a good move. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll just keep on following what's going on. We'll keep you posted when anything changes.